Hi Harish, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Wonderful, Harish. So the topic of today's discussion, which you have chosen, is a very important topic, and that is do's and don't do's during the interaction with professor, global university professors. So when students go for the interview, interaction with the professors in PhD, how they are to maintain themselves, and what points they are to consider. So over to you, Harish. So what we are going to discuss in today's interaction?
Yeah. So basically, if you are called for an interview, so this is a assumption that you are already shortlisted. And let me
Yes.
tell you very clearly, they do not shortlist more than 10 students usually. Like that is the maximum number they would like to have interview for 10 students. So if you are shortlisted, there is a very good chance that you can get through. Okay,
Mm,
so you must have received email that you are called for an interview, and you have to be very careful about what the email says about the presentation, the duration,
mm,
and all that.
mm,
Now, if they ask you like you should uh, have a presentation ready with you, and what
mm,
would be the content of the presentation?
mm,
I would like to divide the content of the presentation in two parts. The first
mm,
part would be what you have done previously.
mm,
Second part would be
mm,
how you can contribute to this current project on the
mm,
basis of your past experience.
mm.
Two
Okay.
parts. That's what mostly they would like to hear. Okay,
Mm,
how you can contribute to this work on the basis of your past experience.
mm, mm,
So I'll give like some of the quick tips so that it is beneficial for the students. First thing is that you should know your research thoroughly. You shouldn't stutter while speaking about your
mm,
research. So
mm,
if you have done your own research, there is a assumption that you should know maximum of it. Okay,
mm,
there is no one in this world knows more than that in that particular project that you have done. So
mm,
whenever they ask you a question, you should be very confidently answering that. If it
mm,
is out of your knowledge or out
mm,
of the boundary, you can simply
mm,
say
mm,
that I am not in a position to answer that currently, but definitely
mm,
I will
mm,
have a look at that. It's a
mm,
way of saying that I don't know. It doesn't
Okay.
sound very well, I don't know, but you can
Mm,
just say that uh, right now I'm not in a position to answer that, but I'll definitely look into that. That's a very interesting question. It's just another
mm,
way to say no. So
mm,
these certain things actually makes a huge difference in the outcome of the interview.
mm,
Next is you should know the relevant literature. Like
mm,
whatever they are expecting you to work on, you should have a basic knowledge on that, a
mm,
simple basic knowledge at least. And you should
mm,
also be aware of what the professor is doing. The best way to
mm,
do is that go on to the Google Scholar profile
mm,
and look at the latest papers, maybe
mm,
papers from 5 years. Let's say if it is 2025, you start on looking at papers from 2020 till
mm,
2025, and you see what topic this professor is currently working on, and you get a
mm,
basic idea of it so that you know that what questions you should expect.
mm,
So that's a way of understanding your potential supervisor's work, which is very relevant.
mm,
Now, another part is master the basics in your field.
mm,
So they kind of would like to ask you very like detailed questions, like
mm,
very basic questions in your
mm,
domain, and you should be able to answer that. You should be fundamentally clear about those questions. Actually, these are certain things that attract the professors to hire you. They don't
mm,
want you to have a very
mm,
vast or very diversified knowledge, but they want that whatever you know, it should be
mm,
concrete.
mm,
So I remember when I got interviewed, they asked me a term which I
mm,
never heard in my life. And I
mm,
couldn't really understand because it was a technical term. It sounds very weird. And I
mm,
was like, and then they typed it, the term they
mm,
typed it. And then okay, so sounds something very technical. I don't think I have ever heard of that term, but I will look into it. something like that. So they just want to see if you know certain things or not, and there are ways to deny that I don't know. But that's fine. That is completely fine. I actually got through that
mm,
interview. So it is not
mm,
like you should know everything, but you should
mm,
at least know the basics. I got a lot of technical questions from the very beginning, and
mm,
I think I answered them like um, fairly well.
mm,
Next thing is that so that you are a passionate candidate and you have actually motivation to do that project. So it
mm,
should be reflected on your face while you are answering the questions. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to hire someone who is like, just going on the flow and not very excited for the project. Because what happens, PhD just struggle.
mm,
There are ups and downs, and sometimes people quit in the middle of it, which they wouldn't
mm,
want it.
mm,
That's a lot of money
mm,
that they're investing and time as well. So
mm,
they kind of make sure that it is, someone who is interested to do that, that would
mm,
actually drive the student to pass on to all those hurdles that he or
mm,
she is going to face during the PhD.
mm,
Another thing is very, very important that can actually make a big difference is demonstrating independent thinking. Actually, the
mm,
objective of a PhD, of a successful PhD, is to do independent research. So by
mm,
the end of your PhD, you
mm,
should be able to do research independently without the
mm,
support of anyone. And
mm,
PhD is a challenge, so they kind of expect you to have problem solving skills on your own. You should
mm,
have a
mm,
good approach, a logical and a reasoning approach towards any problem. So if you
mm,
could show that during the interview in certain questions while answering them, so that
mm,
is a good thing, really a good thing. Now,
mm,
the point is what you do not need to say. Very, very important. It is extremely important. So while I was interacting with some of the students, someone came up with an idea. Okay, because I'm
mm,
from civil, I could get like something of the idea. Now,
mm,
my question is, are you very certain that this idea is going to work? Because sir,
mm,
you have also done a PhD to
mm,
find the knowledge gap and to come up with an idea to do a PhD
mm,
on is a really big task. And it is the main or the sole purpose of writing a proposal. If you are very, very confident that you have scraped through all the internet and you think that this is a knowledge gap that needs to be addressed, definitely go for it. But are you that certain? If you are not, then that can actually backfire you. Even though I have told you all the points, your basics are strong, you have done a literature review, you know what your supervisor would be working, all those questions are fine. But if you do not have a proper understanding of that particular aspect, then it is not, it can backfire you. So whenever you are proposing a novel idea, make sure that you can defend it. So there is nothing wrong or right in research. It is just that as long as you can defend it properly with reasoning and logic, you are right. So do not come up with anything, a novel idea, in order to impress them, which might backfire you. You can come up with that idea, but make sure that you are very certain that it is something that I can defend myself. There is no one in this world who can say that this is a crappy idea or it can't be done. Or some research has already been done in this particular area. You just didn't see that. So you just need to make sure that. Well, yeah, these are some of the important points
okay.
like
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
taken care of.
So, Harish, if in case they ask you something, like you said, there's some ideas they will ask you, or some term they ask you which you are not aware. Suppose some situation comes when they ask you something and you are not aware at all. So, what should the approach? Honestly and candidly, you should admit that you have no idea about that, or because what I've seen is that students try to bluff in a process, to give some answer. So, how they should react to this situation?
Sorry, sir. I think I got a bit of a disconnection in
Okay,
between. Could you please
so
repeat?
yeah, so my question was like, suppose students do not have any idea about what they have asked, what question the professor has asked. So how it should be reacted, how they should react to that.
Yeah, like I told you. it is not necessary that you should know answers to all the questions. If you
Yeah.
just do not know something, you
Mm.
just say like, that's an interesting questions.
Mm.
I don't think I'm in a position right now to answer that, but I
Mm.
will definitely have a look at that. Thank you for the
Yes.
question.
Mm. So
It
they
is,
should
it
not
is,
try to bluff and all. Yeah.
yeah, and it is not, it is another way of saying that I don't know. But I don't know
Mm-hmm.
sounds a bit not
Mm.
professional, you know. It's fine if you
Mm.
say I don't know, but I would
Mm.
like recommend saying like
Mm.
something like this. Just
Mm-hmm.
turn it
Wonderful.
around, you know.
Wonderful. So very, very relevant points, Harish. You provided very important clues to the students because nowadays lot of such interaction, such the interactive sessions are happening between students and the professors. And before they hire anyone, obviously they would feel like interacting with them to know what kind of prospective
Mm.
student he or she is, and they try to ask them all of these. And normally it goes very comfortably. But students should keep these points, which are very, very relevant points in their mind when they go and interact with the professor. And I'm very sure students must be making some presentation also in the form of PPT, and they show to the professors also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that brings us to an end of this wonderful session. Harish, I'm sure this will help students. And thanks a lot for your such wonderful inputs. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.